When you raise interest rates in the United States, given the importance of the United States in the world economy, you make interest rates go up everywhere in the world. This is a crisis for many, many poor countries. Emerging markets is the nice phrase we used for them, mostly in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. They are now in an impossible situation. They had to borrow for development of their countries because they're poor. To cope with the pandemic because they don't have the resources at home to do it. They had to borrow to pay for vaccines, to pay for all the ways of trying to cope with that horrible disease. Now they have to pay back the loans, but the interest rates are going up and they can't. So what are they doing? In order to keep the loan, they have to pay them off. Otherwise, new loans that they know they're going to need will not be available. But if they pay off at a higher rate, they're going to have to what? Constrict other expenditures to free the money to pay the higher interest rate. There ought to be a conversation. If the point of the interest rate rise here is to constrain the inflation here, why should we allow victims all over the world from this? Aren't there some ways we could insulate developing countries that we want to help to do something about the distance between rich and poor in the world that is so dangerous and destabilizing? Aren't there ways to raise interest rates here that don't have that impact? Of course there are. I'm an economist. I give you half a dozen. But it could have been put to the American. Nope. We're all going to read about the emerging debt crisis of poor countries as if it were some kind of natural event, cluck our tongues, say how sad it is, but not understand that we could have been able to intervene, to express an opinion about how this ought to be managed. And we're going to live with the results. And if the poor countries of the world, where the majority of people live, suffer beyond what they are willing to tolerate, we will be drawn into conflicts that will cost us way more than anything we might have decided to do now to deal with that problem.